Good girl. Good girl. All right, we're live. Hello, world.
Hi, guys.
Quick tech update. Maybe I'll do another one of those smartphone show all the equipment. But I found a way to upgrade the camera, and the only way I could get the benefit of it was to improve the lighting. So I spent between the computer and the camera and the lighting hours and hours and hours and hours.
Worth it.
Yeah. Getting a better signal.
Uh,
Because I was looking at people who use inferior cameras and we're getting better results, and it all came down to lighting. Anyway, then we have a lava lamp, thanks to Aldi. I didn't tell you this.
oh, really?
It was $12 at Aldi.
Oh, nice.
And
That's
it- and it-
steal.
yeah, they're $25 at Amazon or 24 or whatever.
What a jib.
Yeah. And what else? I got a new prop. So I just told Charlie this story, but I have this knight. And back when I first broke my neck and was in the hospital, in the rehab hospital, I had one friend in particular who really, really, really showed up. He came out to Colorado 2 or 3 times. I don't remember. And I'll tell you a funny story after this about one of the times he came. And he was just absolutely, totally there. He came to my house nonstop. And do you need more?
No, I'm good. I got it.
I disconnected this unintentionally
No, that's good.
earlier.
You got it.
There you go.
Right on.
So he came out to Colorado. I did my rehab at a very special place called Craig Hospital in Inglewood, California, or Colorado rather. And if you ever break your back or your neck, make sure you get to Craig, because it'll change your life. So anyway, this guy, I was in the mall, and there was a store that had kind of cool trinkety stuff, and this night guy was in there, and I'm like, you know what, I got to buy one of those for my buddy. So I took him in there, and I said, through all the things you've done for me, you were in this with me, or are in it thick and thin, so I'm knighting you, and I'm buying one for me and one for you. And so this is my knight,
Yeah.
and my buddy Dave. Thank you, man. So hopefully this is someplace. Hopefully he still has it. But I got it, and there it is. So this is my trinket. So Charlie and I talked about having props, and that's my prop, man. That's my knight. We got the 8-ball. We got the lava lamp.
I've yet to bring in a prop. I'm behind, as usual.
You got your hat. Your almost MAGA hat.
Yes, but this is seasonal. And my shirt, actually, it's all for Independence Day. So, yeah.
Okay. Still a prop.
Technically, yeah, it is a prop. It is
There
temporary.
are a lot of people who would look at that hat
Go, what the?
and misconstrue it as not a representation of the flag, and not even do the math that it's the eve of the anniversary of our Declaration of our Independence.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and that's sad. That's really fucking sad.
Yeah. A lot of people think that 1776 is like, that's when we ratified the Constitution.
No, it's when
I know. Right.
Right. So for
Yeah.
those of you who don't know, July 4th, 1776 was the signing of the Declaration of Independence. In other words, we're fucking leaving. We're tired of taxation without representation, and on and on and on. So all the stuff that you remember bits and pieces of, the Boston Tea Party, Paul Revere's ride, George Washington crossing the Potomac. You probably didn't even remember the Potomac, yeah. What else?
Beastie Boys, Paul Revere. Oh, no. Sorry, we're talking about historic stuff.
Yeah.
That was a bad joke.
Anyway, chopping down the cherry tree. I cannot tell a lie.
Wooden teeth, right.
Wooden teeth, right. The scratches on the
Inside of the coffin.
the casket of his wife, right? Who was
I don't know.
allegedly...
I know that part of the story, but I don't know what that is.
We're in serious digression here.
Yeah.
But anyway, so on July 4th, 1776, we said we're fucking declaring ourselves as an independent and sovereign nation, and we're going to war.
And here we are. And
here
because
we
of
are.
them, this hat exists.
So I don't know, when was the Constitution ratified?
1789.
Okay, I thought it was 17. Wow. So yeah, 13 years later.
Yeah, they had the articles for a little while, and they're like,
Articles of Confederation.
yep. And perpetual union, which technically we're still a union, we're still a union, but it was not perpetual. Yeah.
And anyway, here we are. Constitution, probably the best.
I would say the best.
Living document in existence in the world today.
Yeah, all you other countries out there trying to like figure it out, just copy, paste. There you go.
And if you're not hungry and you can go basically wherever you want in a car, and maybe it's not a fucking Tesla, but you can fill it with gas, and tomorrow you're going
right
someplace. Be thankful for that, at least for a day, and then go back to whatever you think is some fucking egregious miscarriage of justice, why you don't have what everybody else has, despite the fact that you don't want to work. Anyway.
This is a fun fact about Charlie. This is really one of the only holidays that I go all out for. I think dressing up, like, whatever, holiday stuff is kind of cheesy, but this I actually have something to be thankful for that I believe in, like, without faltering. So I very much love this country and what it's done for me and allowed me to do. I'm not going to be shy about it on the day that we're supposed to celebrate that thing. And I like not being shy about it. I like walking around with American flags on me and, shooting guns, doing fireworks, doing, like, 4th of July stuff.
Yeah, so tell everybody you're growing up north, right? And you bought a gun today.
First time I've ever purchased a firearm. And
really? In your name?
Yeah. Everything else I've ever gotten has been a gift or, just a gift.
I did not know that.
Yeah. But in Michigan, you don't have to register long guns, so it's like free use kind of deal.
And for those of you who don't know, long guns is a catch-all for rifles and shotguns.
Right. The barrel has to be longer than 18 inches for it to be considered a long gun. Other than that, it's considered a pistol. So you could have a shotgun that's got a 16-inch barrel and it's a pistol, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's the law. Right?
So I'm going to go tangential here for a minute.
Shoot.
So if you don't know what long guns is and you're opposed to guns, fucking shame on you. If you're passionately for something or passionately against something, educate yourself. Fucking educate yourself and argue from an informed standpoint, not some uninformed what's the
standpoint? I don't know, viewpoint. Well, like
no, but when everybody's all tribal from a
primitive. I have no idea what you mean.
No, it's just common nomenclature for people who identity politics.
Oh, there
just
you go.
Don't fucking join an identity-driven political movement because it's what your friends do, or it sounds good, or right, it looks good on paper, or whatever.
Like
educate yourself, get informed, and have a cerebral opinion about something, and then be able to talk about it.
And I'd like to point out, I don't think I'm misrepresenting you here. That's not so that we're not saying go educate yourself. That way you'll be on our side. No, we're saying go educate yourself. It'll be better for you. And you'll be better at, discussing with people. And, you might change your mind, whatever. But on the likely event that you don't, at the very least, you'll be coming equipped to battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is nice.
You're 100% correct. Yeah. So if it sounded like I was suggesting that you should agree with something I'm saying, if anything, quite to the contrary, which is fucking learn about something and then have an opinion. Don't have an opinion. I mean, if you have an opinion, at least go learn about it after the fact. But don't not do either of those two. Don't just say, it's just wrong. I dated a girl, and ironically, her brother was a cop. Guns are wrong. Guns are wrong. Guns are wrong.
The cop or the sister?
The sister.
Okay, I was going to say.
Guns are wrong. And I said, why? She goes, they're just wrong. They're just wrong.
That's when you drop the curtain. You're like, okay, we'll talk about something else now.
Right. Yeah. It's really funny. I was listening to something. I can't remember what it was about. And this is like, I thought of it first and kind of like why my goofy reason on why I don't want to read is we've got dogs around today. We had a doggy issue and maybe still do. But anyway, somebody was arguing about, I don't remember if it was prescription drugs that are being abused or the way the argument was being framed was, let's just say for the sake of argument, it was drugs. And I said, you know what? Drugs don't kill people. People kill people.
You have to ingest
And I'm
them,
like,
right?
wow, this argument is exactly guns. It was exactly guns. And God, I wish I remember the specifics of it. But somebody said, you know what? There are a lot of people who liken this to the gun argument. And I'm like, there you go.
Are they wrong for that? What do you-
Smartest man in the world.
And I got a show with him. Right? Or he has a show with me, technically.
No.
Uh,
Anyway, so yes, backing way up. Just if you think something, learn about it, or
Or don't jump to conclusions. Have a healthy dose of skepticism about stuff. I mean, this is like a PSA, but come on, right? It's not
Yeah.
crazy to ask that of you, especially if you're going to be voting. Like as a fellow, someone who's impacted by your vote, I think that's a fair thing for me to ask of you. Yeah.
for sure. So argue from an informed standpoint, at least a thoughtful standpoint.
Right. Rather than a passionate one.
So tomorrow's 4th of July. You're going up north,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
and you bought a gun, and you're gonna shoot guns, and
Yeah, I didn't need it, but
yeah, but sounds fun. Tell us.
it was $200. It was a Savage 12 gauge pump. I was at the store just buying shells for a different shotgun and some other rifles with stuff like that, just to be loaded up for the trip. And I was like, I have so many. My grandpa gave me this, just like all of his old stuff, just everything, and included in that was just like 10 boxes of 12 gauge shells that I would never have used. So I was like, I'm just gonna buy a shotgun and then I'll have. And it was $200. You can't beat that. It was
And
on sale. Yeah.
Probably have $200 in shells.
Yeah, probably.
So I wasn't aware of the details behind that. Do shells stay safe forever?
More or less. Yeah, they oxidize, just like metal, but they
The pellets.
yeah, I didn't even think about that. I meant the casing, but that's typically with rifle rounds or rifle shells, casings. But shotgun shells, it's 80% plastic, and right the shot, it's obviously but the gunpowder, I think it stays, it doesn't expire for a really long time.
I guess if anything, it's going to get less potent.
Well, I'll tell you tomorrow because those shells are at least, it was on the box. It says 99 cents for 25 shells,
So
and I'm
probably,
like,
probably 40 years old.
at least, yeah. So
Wow.
it'll be fun. I'm gonna shoot them though. I'm not. Maybe I'll shoot it like this, but I'll still do it.
So with old rifle shells, if you have a semi-automatic, is it that they might not eject as well?
It might not have enough. And forgive me for not knowing the jargon here. It might not have enough force to kick back the slide all the way to engage the slide.
Is part of it friction though, also in sliding out and getting thrown out of the whatever the
That I think
hole's
that has
called?
more. Yeah, that you can cause a. I forget what it's called. Like there's a type of jam where the slide closes on the almost ejected shell, and there's also kind of jam where the shell is stuck like this underneath the slide from the magazine or whatever you call it, depending on your gun. And I don't know what the names are for that, but a partial ejection is like a lack of power, and then if it's a dirty shell, that's when you get it'll stop on its nose.
Okay.
I apologize for my poor explanation of that, but it makes sense, I guess.
You know more than most. So
Too annoyingly. So my dad asked me about some weird. He's like, "Hey, you ever heard of stoner?" Right? He's like stoner, and I was like, "You mean like a pothead?" He's like, "No, it's like a gun." And I go, "Oh yeah." And my brain out of nowhere knew. Oh yeah, stoner. Vietnam era. Support
Really?
machine gun. Yeah, it was. I think Call of Duty's probably for that, but guns. I have there's a lot more useless information in my brain for that stuff, but I like it.
yeah, for me, it's like there have been a number of mornings where I bet I have 20 to 50 hours reading about motor oil and what's best for your car, just like obsessing.
That's
Well,
awesome.
when I was racing the vet, like what's the best motor oil?
Yeah.
What are the properties?
Right, because you get so you're like, I
I want to know, right?
Yeah.
Right, and you're reading boards. I mean, most of this I'm reading opinions off boards. It's hard to
Yeah.
find. Like, ironically, you go to mobile.com. Well, they have information, Penzo, whatever. You don't learn all this stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
all this accumulated knowledge of just getting obsessed about one particular thing.
And it just sticks in there. It's like, I could have had the periodic table. Well, that wouldn't have been much use either, I guess, at this point. Now that we have phones. It's like, what? The stuff that, do you think that's an invalid argument?
How quickly you can access something, so why memorize it?
Like a kid in school is like, what? I don't need to know algebra. I have Wolfram, calculus on my phone. It's a $2 app, and it can do any calculation that I could ever possibly need.
I
And
think
show it to me.
I think there's two ways to look at it. Two ways to look at it. One is yes, that makes sense. It's a valid point, but I think it's good that we train our brains,
To learn that, yeah,
and that we just have a good machine
right,
that's trained up here and capable of cognitive processing.
yeah,
So if you're not going to do it with algebra, what are you going to do it with?
right, yeah. You could say that. I wonder if a teacher said that. It'd be like, hey, the material is arbitrary. We're just teaching you how to learn, and like it'll set you up for the rest of your life. You have no idea how useful that is.
That's at least half of
Right.
why you go to school, even
Yeah.
college,
Yeah, yeah.
right? I got a degree in economics, and I will say the only thing, probably the biggest thing I got out of that was you would do exercises where maybe it was on a test or group project where you'd build models. And you'd build models and you'd use the term widget. You're making widgets, which is a non-thing. And all it did was teach you how to learn and take, facts and data and theories and break them down and come to some conclusion.
Right. And something I learned, at least from public schooling, is that whatever goes on in my brain is at least a little bit different than how everybody else was learning. So I was either behind, like I don't really cognitive ability, but I like we're talking about that math thing. I have intense difficulty or a lot of difficulty with math to this day. Just like doesn't jive. And I hate that, but am I going to do something about it? I probably should.
Well, and again, my brother told me, and it's probably 30 years ago, that he read or was taught somewhere that everyone has a math ceiling. And some people it's fractions, and some people it's differential equations, and some people it's
Newton.
fucking,
Yeah.
it's like,
It's inventing, was it calculus?
Goodwill
Yeah.
Hunting or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know. I had known about that movie and whatever. I only watched it when I was 19. And I'd heard about it, Goodwill Hunting. And just from the title, you kind of insinuate, like, maybe this is about. I never would have guessed in a million years that was his name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That title, is not at all indicative of or would
Right.
lead you to. That was a great movie. I would
I
tell you
love that movie.
When
Yeah.
I've seen that movie probably 10 times at least, but when I watched it in the theater, I left the theater and I was like, I felt small. Literally. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
That's funny. I experienced that same sensation to jump topics here. I just drove down to Florida and back over the weekend, by myself, straight through both ways, no big deal. And on the interstate, like surrounded by people from it was mostly like Kentucky, Louisiana, whatever, in stuff in my route. But that was the first time I really felt like an American instead of like a Detroiter or whatever. I'm from Farmington Hills, and I
Really?
was like, yeah, I feel part of this thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really nice. And I don't know. It just in like a philosophical sense. It was like, oh, we're all traveling. We're travelers on this road, and it's even though we're going between states, we're all part of the same thing.
Have you driven 1,000+ miles before?
Not in one sitting. No, I stopped on the way down. I left at 6 a.m. It was 1,100 miles. And I got there at 1 a.m. stopping for gas, bathroom, food, yada yada. And on the way back, I left at 6 a.m. I arrived at 11 because I only stopped for gas and bathroom. No, yeah.
I've got an needy dog attempting to climb my mountain here. You want up, buddy? What were we talking about when I was having dinner? And I said, let's pause that because that's a.
Was it the caste system? No.
I don't know. Come on, buddy.
Oh no, we were talking about idealistic policy, right? Romantic policy.
No, before that.
Oh,
I don't know.
before that, we talked about synthetic meat. We talked about
Synthetic meat,
right.
digestion.
Scientists, great job on that. Yeah, digestion.
On two things, I was like, pause that.
What was the first thing when I walked in about the shotgun? And you're like, hold on.
Yeah.
And then I forget what else it was. I think it was about romanticizing, like,
ideas?
it could
and
be
stuff.
so good. It could be
Right.
better. Which you're right. That is kind of, and that's always been the thing that defeats myself.
Oh, we were talking about the caste system in India
Yeah, that's what we talked
and
about.
both having friends. So finish your thought about yourself.
That the only self-defeating like thoughts that I have about my philosophies is it's not realistic, and I'm like, yeah, but it's nice, and I kind of brush it off. Otherwise, I'd feel bad about myself. But it is true. It's like not the most realistic solution.
So
Not even close.
what scares me, and that's fine. It's good to think, and it's good to, kind of postulate how we get better, right? But people like AOC and people like Bernie Sanders,
Don't think.
they fucking scare me
He's joking. Yeah.
because there she goes.
We're getting fireworks, people.
She's got her tail up in the air. Lucy, one of my 3 pups, they went to the vet today and they got their immunizations, and she got an injection and and Lucy's the closest thing I have to a soulmate right now in life. She had an allergic reaction, and it just scares me. So she's in a bedroom. She doesn't go too much, and she's just kind of sleeping and hiding.
Yeah, it's definitely like she's upset or uncomfortable. The behavior is clearly.
And she spent the day at the vet, so she's
Yeah,
kind of
that's-
hiding.
yeah.
And I'm not making myself available to her right now either.
Right,
so,
right. That's fine. Yeah, but
Um,
she seems all right. She's barking at the kid's back door.
yes,
Back.
and her tail was up, so her tail was in the right position.
Happy dog.
Oh yeah. So they scare me because, and Bernie Sanders is ignorant, and I like the guy. We complimented him last podcast, the one that people can't listen to because it sounds fucked up, but
Yeah. Oh no, I
at least-
compliment.
at least he's the real deal. He's consistent. He does what he says and says what he does, but he's an idealist.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to shift gears on you here. So AOC and Bernie, getting to it's okay, buddy. Getting to, was there just fireworks?
Yeah.
Getting to,
It's growling.
getting to like a net zero carbon footprint in 10 years.
Right. What was it going to cost? $93 trillion.
But I mean, it's nice, right? And it's
That's wow, yeah.
conceptually, I guess, admirable.
Man, I even criticized her for not, AOC, I'm nobody in the public eye, but I'm like, I even use that argument in my own personal interactions to be like, that sounds great, right? And meanwhile, here I am doing the same thing. I'm like, it would be nice. Yeah, we should do that. But, right. Yeah.
It's very good you recognize that
Well,
because
try to be honest, my thinking at least.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I just realized that I was criticizing for that is very hypocritical.
But it's good. It's good to look at ourselves and be honest with like who we are and how we're going about shit. That's tantamount, or not tantamount. It's paramount in ultimately understanding kind of who you are and how you get shit done in life. Because if you're somebody who just howls at the moon, it's like, all right, you know what? Dig in and fucking pick something specific and change it.
Right,
Again,
yeah.
it's like the Ben Shapiro thing. Institutional oppression. Tell me give me specifics, and I'll stand beside you and pursue this.
I argued that in a political science class one time, and I was met with great opposition by the professor. He was in complete denial that they call it systematic. We were talking specifically about racism, and I was like, I don't see the government really. They don't do that. And maybe that's just what I think. But I was like, show me what what it is. And everything that he said was like, oh, my buddy showed up to this place he's renting, and he sees him in person. He goes, oh, we're actually not. So I go, sarcastically, oh, he must have had the wrong skin color, And the guy's like, exactly. But to me, I don't buy that. It's like leprechauns, kind of. And maybe I'm wrong. That was a few years ago. I
don't doubt that something like that happened, but that's not institutional. That's a guy who owns a house or a building.
That was my point, and he didn't get that.
Who's racist,
And
right?
Right.
Probably. I would venture to guess that happened. And his
Totally fair.
friend shared that with him, but that's not necessarily institutional. So who is it, right? What's the guy on? Was he the governor of the state of Michigan? Was it the president of the fucking United States? Because if
Some
so,
private
then
business owner,
we're
yeah.
having a bigger conversation.
Right.
But if it's a guy who owns 10 houses and he's just a white racist piece of shit, and he doesn't like black people or Hispanic, Latino people or whatever it is, or gays or whatever living in his buildings, then he should be dealt with. But that's not one person does not a fucking institution make. I'm sorry.
Right. That's
And I don't think you nor am
Definition.
I suggesting that racism is not out there and alive
Absolutely.
and healthy in the United States of America, but they're more clandestine now, right? And they live in pockets, and it's better than it's ever been. And I'm not discounting that it doesn't exist, and the fact that it exists, no doubt, presents shitty situations for certain people.
right.
That said, who's this fucking guy? What's he own? And fucking deep pants him.
Right. Don't kill him or beat him up, but take your dollar somewhere else. That's
But deep pants him. Do one of the local news reporters, like
right. Hidden camera or something. Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
People who
Sleuth, super sleuth.
hey, this black guy attempted to rent from you, and he filled out all the
Yeah, the guy
paperwork,
said,
and
"Fuck
everything
off."
was really going well until you actually saw him and said, "Hey, you're black. You know what? All of a sudden, we're full.
Yeah. Oh, look
Time's
at
up.
that.
You know
What are the odds?
You're 10 seconds late.
He also could have just been like, for me personally, the biggest, I would say, prejudices I hold are against like disgusting people, like poor hygiene stuff. So he could have been a slob, but that's unlikely. Let's just say whatever.
Perhaps.
Right.
But
Tangent.
I have a friend who's black who experienced that. He and my brother were looking to rent a house together in Grosse Pointe.
Oh, okay. Well, that I would believe.
And everything was
'cause I
going
know-
well.
Yeah.
And I'm white. My brother's white. No surprise. We grab my phone so we can turn that light off. Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter. Let's just leave it. It's fine. We got lots of light going on.
Oh yeah. I think it looks fine.
Okay. Oh, we were going to talk about my shirt and tattoos and potentially being misunderstood. So we can shift gears on that
Hopefully
after I
being
finish my thought.
misunderstood.
Anyway, he showed up and for some reason, all of a sudden, the guy didn't want to rent the house.
deal went
to the two of them.
sideways. Yeah.
So he got discriminated against. In fact, we were driving home from a Halloween party in a long time ago, late 90s. And successful guy. You were at his house, right? For Sherry's celebration.
Yeah.
Successful guy. He's been an successful attorney. He's entrepreneur. Now he's like kind of entrepreneur slash private equity guy. And anyway, so at the time he had a brand new. That sounded like a gun more than.
Want to pop off? We can go shoot back. Right.
We have explosions going out outside. The back door's open outside the house. Anyway, I'm driving home in my big blue handicap van at the time. It's all right, buddy.
He's since upgraded. I can verify.
Yeah, I've upgraded or at least shifted gears. And he's in a teal. It was the 90s. A teal, tricked out 3 Series BMW.
Oh.
And we went by, and there was a cop car coming up. We're going through a semi-residential area, taking a shortcut home. There's a cop car coming up through a neighborhood, and there's me, and Dave's right next to me, and I had a passenger. And I said, Dave's going to get pulled over. You watch. And he goes, why?
Yeah.
And I said,
tale as old as
because
time.
we're in City X, and he's driving while black. And he's going to get pulled over. It's going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he got pulled over. And
Oh my God, that's unbelievable. I mean, not to say that I don't believe that, but that's ridiculous. That's like,
there was no question in my mind. Whatever. Anyway, so he got pulled over, and he didn't get hassled. The guy looked at his shit, and he was fine, and let him go. But still, I mean, getting pulled over because you're black is still fucked up.
don't they have to give a reason to be like, why am I pulling you over? Because you were sitting at that light too long. I'd be like, okay, all right, guy.
I think certain people have just conceded that it's going to happen to me, and maybe that's an okay concession. I don't know.
I think that a lot of stuff in life you have to think about like that. Otherwise, you're just depressed or anxious, or you have anger problems because you're like mad at the world. But I try to tell like my brother this, like a lot of stuff that happens is just information. It doesn't deserve a visceral reaction or an emotional reaction. It's just collect that data and then react to it. Most of life is like that. And if you don't, learn that soon or early on, it's kind of tough to be happy. We kind of switch gears to like a self whatever.
No, it's okay.
But that makes sense, right? That ties in. It's like, yeah, it's just going to happen and whatever. But then you're not having activism and stuff like that if you follow that for so long.
No, right. There's no doubt it was wrong and unjust.
Yeah.
But to let it ruin, to have the wisdom and presence of mind and self-control to maybe even not let it ruin your night, it was pretty huge and kind of unfortunate, right? For him and for everybody, because that's fucked up.
Yeah, that is messed up.
But I mean, if you wanna, I don't know. This is a rabbit hole I could dive very deeply into.
In the
But
country
right now,
too.
let's talk about wife beaters.
Oh yeah,
So
that's actually a penny, I think, in modern vernacular.
it's a basketball penny. But you know what's very comfortable is if
Cashmere.
reminder if so I'm in a wheelchair when it's warm out, and particularly it's very comfortable pushing a wheelchair without sleeves. It's like running in shorts versus
freedom.
long pants. It's
Yeah.
just nice.
You didn't have that as a kid, though. They now have a thing like flex jeans. Would you have killed for that as a kid? You're like, I can like roundhouse kick somebody wearing these.
I don't know. That's a good question.
They're the best. They're the best. It's like fake denim, but it is very nice. It's like sweatpants.
Well, they're very 80s, like tight-fitting stuff, polyester.
Yeah, that's the look though now. You know, that's kind of the
Yeah, but in 90s, like that, try to like escape the 80s and let's have real fabrics, cotton,
Yeah.
wool, what have you.
This hat is actually a retro. I forget if it's 90s or 80s, but it's like throwback to a certain tangent. Sorry. Have a good look.
I'm trying to think.
I feel like 90s, right? But in the description, it said retro blank decade. You know, I forget what it was.
Well, I mean, the shape of the hat goes, I mean, it's, like a quote-unquote trucker hat, right?
Right.
But
This has a really high top, like from the bill to the top of the hat. It's really, really tall. I don't
Yeah.
like to wear it, but it is
I'll
a
tell you
cool
what,
hat.
there was a sweet spot, and again, we digress, but there was a sweet spot for the fit shape of baseball hats. And it was like 6 or 8 years ago when they didn't have this and it wasn't like the super like fraternity college kid like bent around brim. It came down
Right.
like on its own and kind of wrapped around, and it was form fitting but not super tight and not like the kind of English rugby soccer style that you can barely pull it on your head enough for it to stay on a windy day. You know what I'm talking about?
I hate that so much. And I have two hats like that. They both have great designs, but I just can't wear. I'm not wearing that hat.
Yeah,
It just
they're
looks
uncomfortable.
Stupid.
They feel like they're gonna just squeeze off your head.
Right.
But anyway, so I have a few hats that I still have. But look at Sadie sound asleep with her tongue out. But yeah, we've moved away and whatever. That's what's in the trucker hat look.
I don't like that.
The pendulum will swing the other way. I agree.
Yeah. I have one, like you're saying, I have one hat that's like, this is a perfect hat. And it's exactly how you described it. But I left it in Florida. And luckily, when I went back down just this weekend, I got it back and I've been reunited with it long lost.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. Really feels nice.
Do you know who Johnny Carson is?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Johnny Carson show. One time he comes out and he would do skits from time to time. And he came out as Abraham Lincoln.
Oh,
And he had this really tall stovepipe hat on. Have you seen this or are you aware of this?
that's awesome.
So he takes off the stovepipe hat and he goes up super vertical and his hair was the exact same shape.
Oh, it's just like
that
up in a.
And he took it over.
That's great.
And the reason of the stovepipe hat was he needed it to accommodate his
His
head
hairstyle.
or head of hair. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That is funny.
So
Yeah.
what made me think of that is how
It's very
that
tall,
comes up
yeah.
real tall and then goes across, like maybe people's heads are changing shape and I don't know.
Yeah, like I need to wear the brim at my like eyebrow. I don't want that. It's really low.
So it doesn't look like
Yeah,
right,
I'm
so
like
it
Abraham
elongates your
Lincoln, right?
head, yeah.
USA. Abe Lincoln would wear this hat, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, so Charlie and I were talking about. I don't wear. I went out in this. I don't generally go out and put some sleeves on, have a little dignity. But so I'm sporting the tattoo. Which have you seen this before?
Yeah, when we work on the cars, you know.
Okay.
But I didn't know it doesn't attach on the bottom. That kind of upsets me.
Well, I wanted it wanted to go through the crease of like the bicep and tricep muscle in the
Right.
back,
Yeah.
and to do that, I've already shown people my armpit hair, but to join it, it would have had to have gone through like where hair goes under my arm.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
yeah.
it was weird. The guy was like, you want to shave your arm and make this attach? Or I'm like, no, let's just cap it off. Because I didn't want it down here. And at the time, it was when everybody was getting the barbed wire fence things on their bicep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, one, I don't want to kind of fall into that camp. And two, I want it, up higher for two reasons. I want it, it kind of goes through the recesses of your arm.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be sure that if I wore a short sleeve shirt, that it would be totally, I'd be able to
Exposed.
conceal it.
Yeah. Right. You got that in the 90s?
I got this on my 30th birthday, the weekend of my 30th birthday. So that would have been 96.
It's a very it looks very 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. I
To me, it
guess.
does. As a someone born in 97.
Yeah, I guess it's
no tie to the 90s at all.
It's high.
Like,
It's hardly better than barbed wire.
I like it though. It is better than barbed wire.
There's not one like it, and I wanted to do. I was trying to find something that was, Scottish and particularly had something to do with
Saving money.
my family.
Oh.
Saving money. And you know what? If I had to do it all over again, and I'm not going to completely write off getting another tattoo, I'd have gotten my family coat of arms.
I looked up ours too, but ours is a stupid logo and a stupid slogan.
Mine's great. It's a hand with a dagger,
Oh, that's cool.
and it's holding the dagger up,
Yeah.
and then there's like this belt that kind of goes around it, and at the bottom it says Manu Forte, which is strong hand in
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
Latin, right? But it would
Gaelic,
be Gaelic
or Latin or whatever. But
Celt.
it's a neat coat of arms.
That is cool. Ours is it's a freaking hourglass. I'm like, man, that's lame. And the slogan is or motto, whatever, is en vase or en vace. I don't know. It means in time. And I'm like, what? That's like,
So passive.
I'll just
and lame.
it'll be fine.
Whatever.
It'll work out. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, maybe that's why my people left
With a
Scotland.
strong hand with a dagger.
Yeah, I know. That's way cooler.
Yeah.
If I got an hourglass actually, we should get an 8-ball tattoo together. 8-balling. show. You're like,
Manu Forte. Manu Forte.
Okay.
Did you ever look at the picture behind you, the print?
Yeah, I've seen it many times. Yeah, and we can see where McKay and Houston are in it.
They're so behind him is a print that my dad gave me that is Clans of Scotland, and it shows where all the different clans were.
Yeah.
And the McKays were Highlander badasses. They had like the
Oh,
whole,
Highlanders! Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
truly Highlanders.
Yeah.
I think I said to you, and I mentioned before, I have a great grandfather, and he was my grandpa's brother. So he was my dad's uncle, Uncle Roddy, who my brother's named after. Didn't speak a fucking word of English.
That's awesome.
I didn't tell you that?
No, I never knew that.
They called him Gaelic Roddy. He spoke no English.
Oh, you did tell me this, Gaelic Roddy. Yeah, no English.
No, he's not my great grandfather. He's my great uncle. So he's my grandpa's brother.
That's sweet. No English. I love that. He's following more of the in time slogan though. He's just like, I just won't learn it. he's like, it'll.
Well, he
just
didn't
come
need
around.
to. He lived in a
Right.
fishing village, literally, like on the northern coast of Scotland, and
Tough guy. Like those Highlanders, man, rough.
I don't know enough about it. I mean,
It's very cool.
I conceptualize it more based on like the '90s show, The Highlander.
Oh,
Like a fantasy guy carrying around a sword, right?
yeah.
But it's the Highlands, northern Scotland, whatever. And I think there's only like 2 or 3 clans up where I'm talking about.
It's tough living. Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister's actually been to Houston Castle or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. For Prince Hughes. Which always bugged me. It's like, it's this guy's thing. It's like Hughes Town, Houston. But yeah. And everybody always gets pissed off with the spelling. They're like, it's wrong. I'm like, whatever.
Hughes.
No, Huston.
No, but I mean.
Oh, yeah. Hughes. Right. And then Houston, the city, is HOU, right? But if it was proper, it would named after Sam Houston, who is also a Houston clan guy.
Same bunch.
Right. So
Interesting.
I don't know if we're related, but I like to tell people that.
So when you were in New York, did it piss you off that Houston Street's called Houston?
That bugged me a lot. But it is proper. It was more proper for the spelling, so I was okay with that. But I was like, Houston.
How is that?
It's Houston.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's Houston.
Yeah, that makes more sense phonetically, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Because how, right.
And like my name would be Huston, but that's gross. No one wants to be called Huston.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. And Soho.
Yeah, Soho, right. And then Nolita and Lolita
Don't know those.
It's northern Little Italy, right? And then
Oh,
lower Little Italy. I don't know. I think. Right?
cool.
Not a New Yorker. I don't plan on being one.
You know, it's funny. There are probably people who live in New York, if they were to hear this, would say, I never knew that. And
Or
there-
they'd be like, you stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. That was
Or
a
that.
horrible New York accent. I apologize.
or that.
for your
No,
ears.
that's okay.
Disgusting.
We're doing our best.
I'm ashamed of myself.
Right. Time to end the podcast. You gotta
Yeah.
go.
Oh, I shouldn't do that. But yeah,
Now I lost my train of thought. What was it?
sorry. Highlanders, New York.
Oh, people who have vacationed in Michigan from, I don't know, Midwest, but Ohio, Indiana, whatever. They'll say like I have only been to the Upper Peninsula to get on the boat to go to Mackinac.
Yeah.
So I'm technically I've been there, but I've really practically never been there. And they're like, really? Like Tequamanon Falls and this and that and the
Oh,
other
wow.
thing. And they're like, you live there and you've never been there. They're like, we do a 10-hour drive and go there and, or
Yeah.
for them, it's probably 15-hour drive. Anyway.
That's great. I can tie that into something. You're a fan of Jerry. So am I. But lately,
Joe Rogan Experience.
I've been having some thoughts on Joe's brain power. But bang bang, shots fired. No, he was doing an episode with Michael Malice, somebody that I idolize, and they're talking about weird fit, like weird.
I watched that one.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Did you see the part? So they're talking about the flamboyant cuttlefish, which is like, oh my gosh, some like
Okay,
psychedelic
I
looking.
checked out on this particular part of it, but
Oh, sorry, I find that
but
stuff
it's in the
super
last
interesting.
2-3 weeks, right?
No. This is episode 963.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
I've not seen
How
it.
do I know
He
that?
had him on very recently.
Yeah, he did 1300 and then 1297 or 1263 and then 967.
Yeah, I like Michael Malice, by the way.
I like him too. He's kind of
he
like a
was-
snotty, little brat, but he's a smart guy undeniably, and he has some decent ideas.
And he's made well for himself.
It's from crowdfunding.
Yeah. And
You know
just
that?
for
Yeah.
being a romantic, right?
Yeah, his book, that one that. Oh yeah, you still have that, by the way. I think he got donations. He raised the money for it and self-published.
Yeah, but anyway, back
Yeah.
to
Oh, right.
this
So they're
episode.
talking about the flamboyant cuttlefish, and Rogan goes, it's funny, if we found this on Mars, people would be like, whoa, what the fuck is that? Look at this thing. It's an alien like. But it's like, he goes, but just because it's in the ocean, people are like, it's right over there. Who gives a fuck? And it's one of the funniest lines ever because it's so true. And it relates to you're like, Tequamanon Falls, I can go see it whenever I want. Or like, who gives a
Or
shit?
you're just like, it's just part of
Yeah, well, who cares?
part of my environment.
Right.
Right up the street.
Yeah, it's not on Mars. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. That I never thought about it like that.
Right.
You hear it. You're like, yeah, it's
You're
on
like
my. I'll see it in passing. It's,
You've never been to, like a restaurant. You're like, I drive by that restaurant every day.
I hadn't been to Sleeping Bear Dunes ever, and just coincidentally went there sometime in or shortly after college, and didn't really like visit them. Just like
Kind of were
actually-
there.
We needed a place to sleep. We were hammered and
Nice.
needed to stop driving. And,
You weren't.
and Sleeping Bear Dunes were like right there.
It's not. We're hammered. We don't need to start driving. It's we need to stop driving.
Yes,
It's a different time,
different
folks.
time. Definitely a different time. But anyway, so we slept on the beach at Sleeping Bear Dunes. One of the coolest, perhaps the coolest, at least in terms of meteorological significance. Woke up and it was like really, really sunny and it was nice, and we watched the sun come up over the dunes.
Oh wow.
And so the sun's coming up over the dunes, and it's blue skies. It's coming up, and you look over the water, and coming towards us, it looked like death. It was just black skies, thunderstorms. There's lightning bolts, like as far as you can see to the right and the left. And if you haven't seen the Great Lakes, if you're looking out at Lake Michigan, it looks the same as the ocean. It's indiscernible.
Yeah, it's
Really,
huge.
unless you're an ecologist or something.
Right.
So coming towards us is, you can see rain and dark skies and this lightning. And here's something I just thought of. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I had something where I could like take a picture of that
Panoramic
and like
camera.
right and like swing around and just do this transition and show, because it was literally like good and evil.
That's great.
And,
yeah.
And I will never forget that morning. And if I'd had a camera and could have captured it, on a panorama shot, it would have been amazing. amazing.
Yeah, that is that would be sweet with lightning, actually. When I visited the Grand Canyon, similar situation, but I had a cell phone because I'm younger, right?
Because we have cell phones.
Yeah, because we have cell phones now. And it was the same kind of deal. Like across like the other side of the canyon, I don't know, east, west, north, whatever. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But thunderstorm, same deal, right? Black thunderstorm, just crazy. And then you look over to the left and it's like nice sunshine going on. And I got a picture of it when lightning was striking. So I actually caught the lightning
that's
on
cool.
camera. But yeah, it was a piece of crap phone. I lost it. And I wish I could.
Grainy and crappy.
It was grainy and bad. I didn't realize it until the graphics improved on later versions of phones. But I wish I still had that.
That's still neat.
It
Well,
is
I'll
neat,
never
yeah.
forget that morning. It was amazing.
I had to take like 50 pictures to actually get one with lightning, but I was persistent and I got
That's
it.
all right.
Yeah, it looked cool.
That's what tripods are for at nighttime.
Oh yeah, you just turn it on, right? And let it sit in time, right? It's
Yeah.
very Houston Clanny.
Yeah, there's a field on the outskirts of Ann Arbor. It might even be in Dixboro. Forget what the streets are. Ann Arbor Trail and something that goes Dixboro Road.
I'll be over there later.
And there is a field where there are, that kind of like 10-day or 2-week window when there's fireflies.
Yeah, it's right now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands of fireflies
Wow.
in this one area. And if you took a camera and stuck it on a tripod and just did like, a 2, 3, 5 second time exposure of all these little fireflies, it would be the most amazing picture ever.
Be like Hubble telescope level.
No, just like right there.
Yeah.
Right there. And it's
No, I
guess
mean
it's-
like in terms of greatness, but yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure about the Hubble telescope,
the picture of they're like, see each of these specks. That's that's like a galaxy, and you're like, what? The
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yes. It would totally cloud the entire field of vision. But I should put that on a list of shit I need to get done
Let's do it.
because that would
Yeah.
be a great picture. Fireflies are up right now. They're starting to go.
I've been seeing them. Yeah. Well, I was down in Florida. I'm sure it's a different,
I think
system,
it's more August
whatever. But
in Michigan.
it's only 2 weeks. I thought they're around all the time.
In my head, they kind of peak.
Oh,
And it's not like a couple days like, mayflies or something, but it's
I'm sure they
a
do
few
peak.
weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe it's longer.
Well, they by definition, right? They have to have a all-time high, but
But I was driving home from Ann Arbor to my folks' house, and I'd never, ever seen anything like this.
that's
ever,
really cool.
Ever.
Oh,
This one night.
yeah. Animals are amazing. I think. Well, technically insect, but
But
yeah.
let's put it on a list of shit to get done this summer.
Yeah. That'd be a cool idea for the show. We could be like, yeah, Chris and I did this or whatever.
Do a
like
video blog one time or a mobile.
remote. They call it. We're doing a remote today, folks. Back in the old days.
See if
like,
we can
leave the
get
studio.
get a firefly to give us an interview.
How do you feel about it? It's just like
How do you feel about this?
a crow comes down and eats him. It's like, oh, I just need another guest. They all look the same anyway.
Right. It'd be hard to see the crows. Are you looking at your watch? You need to get out of here.
No, it's fine. I got whatever, 15 minutes or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are we rolling at?
We're probably at 48 minutes right now. And I'm estimating.
48 minutes, 21 seconds.
I'm so good at that. I am amazing at that stuff. Not lying. I'm embellishing a little bit, but I really am good at that stuff. My buddy in high school would always be like, how do you just guess this stuff? He's like, you're always just guessing this shit. I'm like, I don't know. It's a gift.
Well,
Lucky.
I don't know.
It's not. I didn't intuitively come up with that.
3's a trend, right?
That's true. Is it?
You
No,
keep
I think
guessing it right.
it's 32 is a trend.
1's a point,
Oh,
2's a line, 3's.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
cliche, but
yeah. I was
It-
thinking statistics. But,
yeah. Well, statistics. You can start to make a correlation. At
well,
3.
graphically, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But I think 32 is the number where it's like statistical relevance.
Is it?
Yeah. Fact check me, folks. Could
If
be
I-
wrong.
If I knew that, I
Yeah.
forgot.
I knew that for whatever reason. And I talked to my sister about it one time, and it stuck. 'Cause she was like, "Yeah, you're right. That is it." And I was like, "Cool. I know stuff."
Well,
Still
maybe
don't.
maybe that's what you need for I will bet you that's the number for like a standard bell curve and where you get to.
I think it's
You
like
can
a
get to
percentage of a group, or like qualities within a group, comparing individual units or whatever.
I was
Might
going
be
to
that
guess
kind
that
of a
where
thing.
you had enough data to actually populate and have 2 standard deviations be relevant.
Something like that. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Because like with 3, you got no bell curve. You're
Yeah.
whatever. It's gonna be all over anyway.
Yeah. Stats was the best math class, or was my favorite, and
God, that
math
sounds
that I
like
was
a
the
gun.
best at. Yeah. We should go and actually shoot.
Yeehaw! All
Where you
right.
at? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Here's a great story that I will forget to tell if I don't tell it now.
Shoot.
So you know where Canterbury Commons is, right? Do you
Yeah.
know which house I grew up in? Did you ever?
No.
Okay. So I grew up in a neighborhood that is maybe 2 miles from here. It's less than 2 miles as the crow flies from the house I grew up in to where we are right now in Farmington Hills. And my mom had chickens. So she had
So cool.
we had a fenced-in backyard. Yeah. But chickens, I mean, it's kind of funny, right? She had chickens, fucking chickens. Not,
Yeah.
they're not domesticated. They're fucking chickens in a chicken coop. And she let them out in the morning and put them in at night.
When she wanted soup,
And they
she'd
just
break
went
one of his neck.
Not quite
Oh.
like that. Anyway, not quite that hickerbilly.
Oh, well.
But, so, on occasion, raccoons would get into the chicken coop. And I attempted to raccoon-proof it. And raccoons are smart and crafty. And they're also very
Persistent.
persistent.
Yes,
That's
I
the word I'm
agree.
looking for.
Yeah.
So there is food in a box in our backyard. So she wanted to kill the fucking raccoons.
No mercy. I
And
hate them.
she still kills she kills raccoons frequently in Milford.
Good for her. Nice.
Yeah, she has a place in a town west of here, and she's got a horse and
Oh, really?
chickens. And have you been out there?
I locked my brother in the chicken coop when I was a kid.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay,
I
maybe
forget
not
where.
recently.
What?
But my mom has chickens and ducks, and she used to have guinea hens, which if you don't know what they are, they're just like this noisy fucking shit machine, random poultry.
Like most animals.
Anyway, so we had chickens in Farmington Hills, and these were, even though they were wild, they were her pets, and it was really, really, really upsetting to her that they kept
Having
what are
to
you
deal
doing,
with this other scourge.
well, they kept killing her friends.
Yeah.
So she's like, help me fix this. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, let's start killing raccoons. So I went down and I took like erector set pulleys
Oh,
and I fastened.
for stealth?
Well, I fastened like some pulleys here and there and everywhere, and then I took nylon line and I made this kind of web of lines that went between pulleys, and honest God, if you touched it, and then I ran a string up to my bedroom and put a pulley on my windowsill and put a bell on it.
Oh, so you'd know. Oh, that's pretty damn
So
smart.
it's kind of booby trapped.
Yeah.
So, and then I take it back. I have shot my 410 shotgun.
Oh, you have? You still have it?
I still have it, yeah.
I
It's
have
at my mom's house.
Another huge box.
So I shot it at the. Oh wait, I just spoiler alerted myself.
Oh.
Anyway, so
You go, "Oh, wait a
so
minute."
up to a single bell in my bedroom window. This is when middle class and upper middle class people still didn't have air conditioning, and that's another story. Sorry, I can't help myself sometimes.
It's both of us.
So I've got this network of lines that go to one line that's to a little bell in my bedroom window. I was out with my friends at the bar, doing bar stuff, seriously doing bar stuff. Got home and it was past 2 a.m. I get dropped off and I'm barely fit to walk. My mom is sleeping on the couch, and there's a Ruger 22. My brother has, and it's still at my mom's house, a Ruger 22
Great gun.
and a double barrel 410 shotgun at the door, and my mom's asleep on the couch. So I come in and I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm gonna get these raccoons."
Mom, what are you doing?
Right.
Just shoot it. All right.
It wasn't quite like that. I was more concerned that there's 2 guns by the door, and,
Yeah.
and
Right.
my mom's asleep on the couch, and who knows what's gonna happen from there. So I'm like, whatever. I said, I'm going to bed. I go to bed, and I'm in bed not a minute or two, and it is a 90-degree. It had been a 90-degree day, so it's an 80-degree August night. It's 90% humidity.
Oh,
It's just the air's thick. It's not moving. There's not a breath of wind.
it was like that today.
This was today on steroids.
Wow.
There's not a breath of wind. I lay down in my bed, and I'm not exaggerating. I lay down in my bed, and the bell goes. No. Tink. Just one little itty. And I look, and the air is still. I get up. I run downstairs. I'm like, Mom, there's coons. So I grab the 410, run out. I'd never shot the gun, so I didn't know how the sights were. So there's two small raccoons.
Hip fire.
So I aim and I shoot and I blow a hole in the lawn about, I don't know, a little bigger than, it's still a 410, a little bigger than the size of the 8-ball. So the sights lined up, undershoot. So I didn't know how to line up the gun.
Yeah, it's right.
So then I take another shot. So there's two running, and then I take another shot, and the raccoon kind of jumps up. So I hit him, and then he ran off. So he probably died. And the other raccoon, my mom had a flashlight. She's got him mesmerized and pinned with fear under
Like a deer, yeah.
a tree, under a little pine tree in the backyard. So I said, keep him there, keep him there. And I run and I grab the 22, and I'm looking at this raccoon, and this thing's not even a year old.
You?
No.
Oh, you felt bad.
If it had been the moment, and I was fine shooting them, and he's pinned under, and I swear to God, yeah, I'm looking at this thing, and he's got these big brown eyes, and he's looking at me, and it's like he's saying,
Can I eat your garbage?
no, he's like saying, please don't make me die. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. And again, if it were totally in the heat of the moment, easy to do.
Bang.
He's
right.
He's literally looking me eye to eye.
That's hard.
Terrified.
Yeah.
And I got the gun pointed at him. And now, mind you, this is Farmington Hills. There's a house on each side of us and a house behind us.
Right, 20 yards away, right?
And I'm hammered, and I'm just shooting a shotgun, right?
Let loose both barrels, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I said to my mom, I said, you know what? I'm looking at this thing. I can't do it. I'm like, they're your chickens. Here you go.
She killed him.
She shoots the gun. And I mean, we're talking the thing's 10 feet away, and it's a rifle. You can't miss.
Sure you can.
She missed. The thing takes off. I go here. I grab the gun again, just between. Now it's on the run.
Right.
It's not difficult now, right? It's a predator on the run. This is Farmington Hills.
I can't.
I grabbed the rifle, and I probably let 5 shots go. And now, mind you, it's also pitch fucking black. And she's got the light, and she's kind of trying to shine.
Oh, my God.
Bam, 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 bam. I'm absolutely absent of any consciousness that we're in a neighborhood. I'm just hunting. Okay?
That's the funniest way to look at it. You're hunting, yeah, just in your backyard.
Yes.
At 2 a.m.
Miraculously, I hit the thing.
Wow. Magic bullet.
Now, again, as luck would have it, I hit it in the spine.
Oh, shit.
And it's freaking out. It's it's spazzing out.
Oh, that's horrible.
It was horrible. So I took the gun and I put the barrel on its head and I put it out of its misery. I'm like, why couldn't I just shot them both in the,
In the
anyway.
brain. Yeah.
And I just saw this thing freaking out, suffering, had to put a gun to its head, which is, I don't know, you know how I feel about hunting. I'll kill shit that's killing our stuff. No issues. That's not hunting. That's just protecting your property.
Conflict, yeah.
Yeah. But, man, and I hadn't thought about that in a while. The thing was just suffering, bang, dead.
And did you
whatever.
remember that the next time a situation presented itself to you in that similar light?
No.
No. Oh. My
No.
dad, he had, and I don't know, maybe he's told you this about himself. You guys, you've known him a lot longer than I have. But the first time he ever killed a deer, same thing. He was like, God, this is fucked up. And he whenever he tells it to me, he's like, does the deer's, internal monologue. He's like, oh yeah, happy, happy, happy. Like, oh, I'm just eating grass, running through the woods, and then bang, he's like, oh, I was having such a great day. No, I'm dying. And my dad is like thinking this is what's going on in the deer. And so he was like, I can't ever do it again. And he had to, kill it with a knife. He was like dying. He was with my grandpa and some other family member, and they're like, all right, be a man, kill this thing. And scarred him for life. He doesn't want to do it anymore. And I don't blame him for that, because I've felt that same thing. And it's like really weird. You're like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah. So, no, if something, I'm trying to think if I've killed anything. So that was college. The pheasant hunting was post college. But again, I didn't consider that hunting. It was, they were killing
You're
my mom's
protecting
chickens.
Yeah.
They needed to be killed.
It is a pest at that point. I think you have,
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like killing a rat in a rat trap or whatever. Like, whatever. You got to do what you got to do.
If I could shoot the raccoons in my backyard, in modern day Farmington Hills, I live less quarter of a mile from where we are right now as a bird flies, like you said. But and we have raccoons, and they like live under the deck, and I'm like, oh, I have a locker full of guns. I could
there was probably I'll bet it was close to 20-pound raccoon that used to sit on our deck at night, and
huge.
Sherry would go out there with a broom, and he would just hiss at her. And I'm like, you know what? The dogs eventually are going to get in a fight with this thing. And I was worried about them getting killed and or getting rabies.
Disease, right.
Yeah. So we brought a live trap out, and we trapped him, and it took it just 1 or 2 nights. And my mom said, I'm taking him to Milford, and she just loves putting them out of their misery. So we've trapped a number of coons on our deck, and I know when my mom comes with her pickup truck, they're off to meet their fate.
They're like,
and
whoa.
I'm okay.
Did I tell you that I saw when I was leaving here a few weeks ago, I saw a family, and I thought they were coyotes. That's how damn big they were. It was a mom and 3 kids, and I was like, oh, look at those coyotes. Shit, I got to tell Chris. And then I got closer, I'm like, oh my God, there's a raccoon.
Some of the neighbors feed them.
What the fuck? By putting their garbage out the day before? I hate that.
No.
I hate that.
Feed them.
Oh.
Like, go out on their deck and throw them shit, at dusk or whatever.
You have to have a homeowners association meeting and be like, all right, guys, by law, you can't feed the rodents.
That thing would sit out there, and I feared for the safety of the dogs. And a human person. Bears fear people.
Yeah, you could scare them away.
Not this raccoon, man. He just hissed. He hissed at Sherry. She had a weapon, a broom, He's like...
Aggressive, yeah, I know, right? Like a duck, those Canadian geese. I hate them so much.
Have you heard...
Oh, wait, but the solution I found, I'm going to get back to it. So Farmington Hills hunting, or at least pest control in modern day Farmington Hills, the solution is obviously a silent weapon. So I've been keeping the crossbow ready.
Oh.
And that will seriously fuck up a raccoon. The bolt is, as long as its body, and it freaking shoots. So if you ever shot a crossbow, you think it's like an arrow or whatever. It's very powerful. It's just like a gun. It's like... but it's silent, and it's great. So I thought, next time I see one of those big bastards, I'm going to blast him.
I never even thought about that. I thought about one of those air rifles, those...
That makes noise, though.
17,
I'll shoot a chipmunk.
17 caliber or something.
Yeah, 17 cal. I have one of those. It's a, break.
Yeah.
And it shoots pellets. The thing, I've domed so many chipmunks with that thing. The sights are deadly accurate. It's cool. But, yeah, the chipmunk, you can't just shoot it, Got neighbors.
Right.
Unless you're drunk and it's 2 a.m. and you have chickens.
And your next door neighbor is Sharna Dufresne. So after 2 shotguns and probably 6, 7, 8, 22 rounds, which is not real loud, as you know, but she comes out on her back porch and she goes, Gene? Gene, is that you? And she goes, yeah, Sharna, we got an issue with raccoons. And by now it's 3 a.m. She goes, okay, just checking.
Yeah.
And they're like, crazy Gene McKay shooting the guns in Farmington Hills.
And the best part is that she came outside and be like, hey, I heard some gunfire. How's instead of being like, hey, from the safety of her home or the basement, hey, I heard some shots.
Farmington Hills Police?
Yeah,
no,
right.
She came out, literally.
That's great, yeah.
She goes, Gene?
Yeah.
It was hilarious. Anyway.
Raccoon, whoa, no. Right. It goes, You know, your mom is always, before I even had all the info, like about the farm, like whatever, the animals and horses, chickens, stuff like that.
Animal Farm.
Sure. And she always gave me that vibe, like tough gal. Like I'm a tough gal, and I respect that a lot. And she's like a fun, I don't know. But before even knowing that, she totally struck me that way. It's kind of like a Western,
She's a tough gal.
Annie Oakley kind of character.
Well, and that's how my grandpa was, her dad.
Oh, sweet.
So I think it's partly, I mean, she's made up of genetic stuff. You know, she's whatever age she is, going on 30 years younger or 20 years younger. I mean, hopefully I got her genes. And her mom lived well into her 90s, and her grandma lived well into her 90s, and her grandpa, my grandpa was the son of am I getting this right? If memory serves, son of a sheriff in Texas, and my grandpa rode the rodeo circuit in Texas. And then I don't know the story as to why he came to Michigan, but he came to Michigan. And then did whatever he did and met my grandma, and here are the Sullivans and now the McKays.
And eight ballin'.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, my mom is she's a tough gal, tough person.
I like her a lot. She's great. But we digress. Yeah.
No, it's good. I mean, it's good to have good parents. Hopefully, we're lucky that way.
I agree. Sometimes. No, I'm just kidding.
So, right.
Love you guys.
Everybody has their moments.
Right. Yeah. Oh wait, last story, and then I gotta get out of here. But were you with my dad when he throwing knifed a squirrel or something?
Not that I remember.
He was with a buddy, and I just assumed it was you, right? Because most of the stories are it's like Chris or JMO or something. But
sounds like a JMO story. But
he was standing on a balcony, or maybe it was a first floor kind of a balcony or a sunken deck or something, and at a rental property or a temporary vacation home. I don't know what it was. And
sounds like a fraternity story.
No, they were with my nana or my grandma and grandpa though. So it was like some kind of a thing, and he had a knife, jokingly whipped it at this squirrel who was, I don't know how far away it is. I'm ruining the story, but he got the damn thing first try with a steak knife, and he goes out, gets it, brings it back in, shows my grandma, and she goes, "Get away from me!" I swear that was you in the story.
That's one of those moments.
I
don't remember that. I don't remember that.
Pure luck.
There are stories that I should have remembered that I haven't.
That's all right. I thought that was a good one.
That is a good one.
Just what, you think I can do it? No way. Oh my God.
It's just one of those, it's a Zen moment.
Yeah, it's like, the stars aligned or whatever, planets aligned.
Yeah, but for some reason he knew to speak out, a Zen moment.
Right. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Watch this. And then what you do is you never do that again.
Right, because you're one for one.
Because you're not gonna.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you just talk a show. You're like, I could fill in the blank, right? And they're like, this guy's serious because last time he
got that damn thing.
Right.
Yeah. Has he done it ever again? He doesn't work for free, right?
There you go. All right, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, hey, happy 4th of July. Remember, it's Independence Day. It's a big day. If you're here and you're living reasonably well and you're free to come and go as you please, appreciate that. And remember, tomorrow is the anniversary of when we said, fuck it, we want to be completely free. And so far as I'm aware, we're the freest country there is on earth that's not, so small you don't even know about it.
Lieberland. Yeah.
Lieberland.
And that's good big picture stuff, be thankful. But also, don't look down the tube of your mortar if it doesn't go off right away. That's also something that needs to be said. It's a very common incident.
That's the way we lose our heads, right?
Right. Free to, America gives us the freedom to succeed and fail on our own. So don't be that guy tomorrow.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, and enjoy yourselves. Right.
All right. That's it. Over and out. Thanks.